Last Picture Show with Rahim Khan, and as we are doing a whole bunch of year-enders, I thought it would be sort of incomplete to do a roundup of 2025 without doing, of course, the worst of the year. In this list, of course, there are going to be a whole bunch of stinkers, but then also going to be a couple of films that, though not the worst, were most certainly disappointing. They didn't live up to expectation. They were missed opportunities, if you will. So I think a lot of the times, and a lot of these movies, well, they're predominantly from Hollywood, it stems from the fact that I don't think Hollywood learns its lesson. It is so stuck in this rut, and you don't need me to say this. I mean, sort of other better critics have been saying this for a very, very long time. This cash grab that Hollywood is always chasing after. You know, the next franchise, or at least let us flog another dead horse. Let us pick up something that was, you know, maybe a good movie 20 years ago and sort of see if people are willing to buy into the nostalgia. And that's why on this list, you do have a bunch of sequels that had no right to be there, no right to exist, but here we are. And yeah, okay. I'm going to start off with one that broke my heart because I am such a fan of this franchise. It gave us, at least in its sequel, the greatest animated bear movie, or live action bear movie ever. And that was very, very difficult. I mean, that was like, you know, shoes to fill. And unfortunately, they weren't able to. The film, of course, I'm talking about is Paddington in Peru, which was released last January. And man, watching the movie just made me uncomfortable because, and I hate to do this, the pressure of any potential sequel to live up to its predecessor. I mean, that's always unfair. Like, you know, sort of one should judge it on its own merits. But sort of sitting through, I can't even remember how long that movie was, but just sitting through that movie, I felt my time could have been better served sitting at home watching Paddington 2 all over again. Even though it had it had all of the cast returning, this time joined by Antonio Banderas. I think one sort of key element that was missing, of course, was the director. I'm forgetting his name, but I think he was a little busy working on Wonka or something like that, which is why he didn't show up for this, which is, again, maybe perhaps unfair to judge this director. But seeing as how that man guided the first two movies, you know, maybe, just maybe, he should have stuck around for the third and at least sort of cemented his mark on the world as the sort of preeminent director of sort of live action bear movies. So terribly disappointing. That was Paddington in Peru. March gave us another stinker, and it was a stinker. I mean, it stank to high heaven because when you learned, and I did a review on the Last Picture Show of this movie, when you learn of the amount of money that was spent on it, I am just amazed that this movie saw the light of day. And that is, of course, the Russo brothers' The Electric State, a Netflix production starring Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown. As I said at the time as well, I love the source material. You know, that gave us that wonderful show, which again, my mind fails me, but it'll pop up here, The Loop, something like that. And, you know, I mean, there could have been something better done than this. I mean, when they spent like $150 million in a movie like this, that barely registered with audiences or streamers alike, you wonder why. I mean, at least I know why people are up in arms about sort of Netflix trying to buy HBO. The Electric State was terrible. I'm trying to go sort of chronologically with these movies. but I wrote them out of order. So I skipped to March, but I should have spoken about something that came out in February, and that is, of course, Captain America Brave New World. I'm not, okay, again, this list isn't of the worst movies. It is of the worst movies, but it's also of the most disappointing as well. And Captain America Brave New World was 100% disappointing, primarily because, I mean, if this was a movie that was meant to pass the torch from Steve Rogers, Chris Evans to Sam Wilson, oh my God, I'm forgetting that guy's name as well. Sorry. Then this movie did not do it. I mean, we had the TV series, what was it called? Bucky and the Falcon, or Winter Soldier and the Falcon, whatever it was called. And I thought that was good enough for it to be at least signaled to the rest of the world that, we have a new Captain America. But this movie, I mean, no. I mean, I'm not saying that it was poorly directed. It was competently done, but the story was, very average. It honestly was, it could have just been like a TV special. It didn't need to be a movie. So very underwhelming, and another missed opportunity on Marvel's part. I think then The Accountant 2. I don't know why The Accountant 1 existed, so why did it warrant a sequel? I mean, The Accountant 1 was a stupid-ass movie. I mean, Ben Affleck playing an autistic genius accountant, super soldier type guy. I mean, that's a hard sell to begin with. And then you throw in the mix like sort of John Bernthal as his brother, and they have this family history. And oh my God. I don't know why I watched this movie. Surprisingly, it got like sort of semi-decent reviews, which I have no idea how that even happened. But yeah, I mean, like, why? And this time around, he kind of starts living a little, and he starts to date and this, that, and the other. And you know what, man? Please do not make a third movie. I will definitely not. I'm not going to watch that. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Another one back in March. Sorry for this sort of, I keep on skipping between these things. Like, I'm not getting my dates right. But another thoroughly, thoroughly disappointing movie. I mean, something that sort of literally made me weep in my seat was Mickey 17. Bong Joon-ho's, sorry, I kind of butchered that. But I mean, his adaptation of, I think it was a comic book or a graphic novel or something like that, or a book itself, starring Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, a bunch of others. In Robert Pattinson's best, I think, Steve Buscemi's impersonation. But it was just, I mean, again, after the sort of Empyrean heights of Parasite, I mean, it's hard to follow up with something like this. And those are very, very big shoes to fill. And unfortunately, he couldn't fill them. Okay, I'm going to leave that one to the very end because I have kind of history with it. So let us next go to Jurassic World Rebirth. This is another one of those movies that I was sort of lamenting the fact that Hollywood is so sort of addicted to this franchise snuff that they keep on, like, I don't know, trying to, like, sort of get the masses on. That it's just, I mean, please, for the love of God, stop making these movies. I mean, that wonder that maybe Spielberg was able to elicit in the first movie, it's gone. I mean, we don't need to see any more dinosaurs on screen. We don't need to see these rehashes, these regurgitated plot lines. And again, I don't blame, well, of course, I kind of blame Gareth Evans, the director, for this, because Gareth Edwards, you know who I'm talking about. Because the thing is that if he was able to make a movie like The Creator, maybe he needed this paycheck from this to fund that. But like, again, he's an accomplished director. He didn't need to waste his time making this movie because, again, he doesn't really bring anything to it, number one. Number two, David Cope, who also wrote, surprisingly in the same year, Black Bag, the Steven Soderbergh movie. I mean, how can you write that and this in this? Well, not in this. They were released in the same year. I'm sure they were released at different points in time, written at different points in time. But I mean, if the same writer can write the same piece of shit, then I am just disappointed. And I never want to see another Jurassic World movie again. Again, the best dino movie this year was Primitive War. That says it all. I mean, if a mockbuster, not technically a mockbuster, but if a movie like that can sort of best a multi-million-dollar movie like this, it says it all. Happy Gilmore 2. I mean, yes, we all loved Happy Gilmore growing up. Stay in your hole. But like Happy Gilmore 2, we didn't need it. We really, really didn't need this movie. I mean, again, maybe this is Netflix trying to cash in on nostalgia. I get it. But it doesn't do anything. If this movie, like Paddington 2, like Godfather 2, was able to surpass the first, then I'd be like, okay, fine, sort of it justifies its existence. But it didn't do that. So for the love of God, please stop making these movies. We do not need unnecessary sequels. Sequelitis. Don't need that. Not anymore. Eddington. This guy's made great movies. Midsummer, what's it called? Hereditary. I was expecting a lot from this movie, considering that pretty good cast, Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal. It was dealing with something that I thought hasn't really been done. Despite the fact that it's only, it's been 6 years now. I mean, we haven't really had much in the way of sort of COVID-themed movies or movies that have dealt exclusively with, pardon me, the pandemic. So I was looking forward to this movie, but what a thoroughly, thoroughly disappointing film. It was all over the place. It was a mess. And I regret watching the movie. I wish I hadn't sat through it, because I came away scratching my head and wondered why? Another movie. I understand why this movie exists. This is Karate Kid Legend. So the thing is that ever since Cobra Kai, which again is an example of taking sort of a pre-existing movie, story, franchise, whatever, and sort of doing something different with it. They'd made a TV show out of it. The focus was not on what's it called, LaRusso. It was on Johnny Lawrence. And good, I liked it. And I liked sort of how over the entire course of the show, we got to really, it was a nice, very complete arc. I appreciated it. And so sort of, again, in an attempt to ride that wave, they made this movie, and sort of, having Jackie Chan and what's it called, Ralph Machado, John, what's it called, LaRusso, having these two guys potentially mentoring a new Karate Kid. In this case, it was Ben Wang. Yeah, Ben Wang. I thought, this movie is really, it's going to be something, right? But it wasn't. It was, I wouldn't say it was DOA, but no, it just didn't do anything for me. I mean, maybe there was one or two scenes when he's, training, when Ben Wang is training Joshua Jackson, and they're they have that fight scenes. Those are maybe slightly interesting, but sort of, if you are going to try and cash in on Cobra Kai's thing, why don't you bring in those people into it as well? Have Johnny Lawrence in it, right? Have maybe other people from Cobra Kai and stuff like that. Make it a real sort of, Avengers type movie. But they didn't do that. And another waste of time. I'm thinking which one I should go at next. A House of Dynamite. Oh, Now, in my review, which you can catch on this very page, I thought, because there is that thing, A. Jacobson's book, Nuclear War, A Scenario. I thought, having read that, getting a film version of it, more or less, it was going to be something it was going to be sort of this white knuckle ride. Unfortunately, we got a movie that tripped over itself because of its structure. It was a misstep. And because of that, something that could have been potential gold turned out to be a dud, which I hope any nuclear missiles launched in the future will be. Catherine Bigelow's movie, Netflix production with an all-star cast, just really was it was a missed opportunity, real missed opportunity, which is a shame because the source material was potential dynamite. Tron Ares. Man, why did they do this? I mean, the original Tron, love it. The other one, what was it called? The one a couple of years, almost like I think 10 years back, that Tron. I mean, no, that could have been much better. Now that you're doing this, like you're attempting this now a third time, you maybe learn from your mistakes. And the thing is that I kid you not, the trailer had me going. I was like, okay, this is a movie that at least looks cool. Sounds cool as well, thanks to Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. But what a sort of almost simplistic and boring movie at the same time. And, I mean, I don't want to hate on Jared Leto, but just, I mean, I don't know there's that stupid thing in the movie where, this he talks about sort of how he loves Depeche Mode music. And I mean, who's going to buy that? I mean, like, it's just, I don't like 30 Seconds to Mars. He is a good actor, though. I loved him in Blade Runner 2049. And the guy just is a good actor. I mean, he has it. But was he miscast in this? I don't know. Or maybe this deserved a better script, a better director, or it should never have just happened. They shouldn't have made the movie. So let's hope. I mean, I still want to see more from the Tron universe. There is I still want to see it, but if it's anything like Tron Ares, and I hope Disney's learned their lesson, we never get to see this at least for another 10 years. Jay Kelly reviewed this here on the Last Picture Show, and as much as I like Noah Baumbach, this movie is a sort of imitation, an ersatz version of what a Noah Baumbach movie could have been, should have been, would have been. There was just nothing in it. It was like an empty movie with attempting to comment on a couple of things. But it just didn't work for me. It didn't work for me at all. George Clooney didn't work in this movie. Nothing kind of worked in this movie, which is a shame because, again, it had a very good storyline and it had very good people behind the camera and in front. So the fact that it didn't come together is a shame. Now I'm going to come to a film that got me a lot of online hate on this very platform. And even though it's already made it to many best of the year lists, for me, it remains. I'm not going to say the worst movie, but at least the most overhyped movie of the year. And that is, of course, Ryan Coogler's Sinners. The movie, as I said, got me a lot of shit online because the thing is that I don't know why, but apparently those who did watch my review of it felt that just because, I can understand the African American community wanting ownership of something like this. It's like, for example, Black Panther is ours, And for example, if you're hating on the movie, then, sort of, you don't understand, what it's doing, sort of like, that it's uplifting the community. It's finally giving sort of marginalized voices a voice, or marginalized people a voice, all of that stuff. I get it. But the thing is that shouldn't be the only merits of, sort of a movie. It shouldn't just be because it's doing certain things. We have to also look to, the filmmaking. We have to look to, like, the story. We have to look to so many things. And, just because we got Michael B. Jordan ×2, which is a gimmick that is just done. I mean, come on. Short of, Bollywood movies, I don't want to see that shit anymore in movies. Because it's not like there was anything like... Did anyone watch Park Chan-wook's adaptation of The Sympathizer for HBO? So we had Robert Downey Jr. in multiple roles. He played I think 6 or 7 different characters in that. And all of them were different, and none of them were Robert Downey Jr. So, I mean, if you want to maybe do that, do that. But if you're having just Michael B. Jordan, just be Michael B. Jordan, and I said this at the time, and I will say this again, I would rather see, because the thing is, if you remember in Sinners, in the start of the movie, you have Native American vampire hunters. I want to see that movie. That is a movie I really want to see. And I hope Ryan Coogler listens to this, hears this. But yes, the most overhyped, underwhelming movie of the year was Sinners. Bite me.